So basically, when I was talking to one of my friends a couple of days ago, she asked me, but what are you going to talk about? And I said, it's my first TED Talk, and perhaps I want to share some tips how to hack your dream job. That's a really complicated mission in your life. And she laughed a little bit and she said, like, but what is your dream job? And I said, you know, perhaps I have one. And I never really realized what I wanted in my life. I was a pretty confused person doing thousands of things. But today, after living in 5 different countries and working there as well, on the things that I really enjoyed at those certain points of my life, after finishing bachelor and master degree, getting enrolled into PhD that I have never done, finally, and enrolling into some other life projects, I realized that today I'm a really self-completed person on the professional side. And perhaps I wonder all the time, what is the difference between I like what I do and I love what I do? So very shortly about my love for today, I'm working with Talent Garden. It's one of the biggest co-working networks in Europe. I'm responsible for the brand and the international expansion. So our mission and our daily vision is building something big, building something that helps other people to change the way they work, they learn, and they meet. So to mention one thing, there was a crucial point in my career, my life, when I was finishing the high school, that actually changed the entire attitude towards my work. And there was like a point when I realized, oh shit, the market of job is changing daily. It's not that much anymore about the corporate stability. It's not that much anymore about having one job for 5 or 10 years. It's not that much about being attached to one place, one city, one bunch of people. It's about having global teams. It's about getting out of those like endless meetings and jumping on a little FaceTime call with your boss. It's about the opportunity to be independent and do whatever you want from wherever you want. So I was lucky enough to have a chance to leave the country and see how it works. And this is crazy statistics for today because right now we have around 33% of people who are already working independently, traveling around. By 2020, we might reach the number of 50% of freelancers in Europe. What does it mean? We, millennials, are hungry. We want to be independent and we want to do something that is full happiness and joy for us. So basically I was trying to imagine, like, what is this little step between I like what I do and I love what I do? And I want to ask you today, how many of you enjoy your current activities, enjoy your current work? All right. How many of you truly love what you do? We got pretty good statistics in this room. So basically, like, thinking over all those things that have happened to me in 7 years, I realized that probably for me there was a little difference between like and love. And that was a little extra mile of self-completeness. So I tried to visualize all this information and give a visual example because I really believe in pictures. So basically, imagine your daily meal, breakfast. Amazing chocolate muffin, right? We all love that. It's exactly the same amount of calories, the meal on the left and the meal on the right. You eat a chocolate muffin for your daily breakfast. It's amazing. It gives amazing flavor, stability, right? You know how it feels, you know the experience about it. But when you look at this picture, you have exactly the same package, but you have so many different flavors, so many different experiences, something that actually completes all the secret parts of yourself. And this is what I think you can say, I love it, because it's diversity. So basically, starting from the beginning, before giving you some tips and learnings that I had on my way, I wrote down all the things that I thought of as a child. I even phoned my mom to ask in case I missed something. And if you look at them, like right now, probably it doesn't make any sense. It looks a bit weird because they're really different things. But if I think of my professional life today, of my daily work, I can find each of these pieces in my daily routine. Why? Because I believe when we are kids and we are dreaming of becoming someone, we just think about something that really matters at that certain point of our personal development. And you know, like, that's my advice to each of you. Please write everything down and think like how many of those things you can reflect in your daily work today. Okay, about that one up there, about dancing thing, I'm still wondering like how how does it come to my daily work, but at least I always love that. And my first advice and my first learning that I have learned ever was, do not take it too serious. I know we are all making those plans for 20 years, how we want to see ourselves. But believe me, if everything happens according to your plan, you are really bad at planning. Like, you have to learn to fail, and especially learn to rebound really quickly. You will never know what happens. From my personal experience, I made this amazing plan of who I wanted to become. I had a really bright vision. I was never a really A-level student in school. I had very decent grades, in case my teachers hear me. But basically, I had a lot of self-confidence. So I went to the study center with my friend. I filled in this paper for studies. I think I wrote down 4 or 5 options with a lot of self-confidence. But I had this inner voice inside me telling like, that's not enough, write something else. And that's really ridiculous to tell you now that actually I was spontaneous enough to do that. So I wrote business management. And guys, there is nothing bad about business management, but if you compare with all those art-related professions that I wrote before, that didn't make any sense. Guess what? A month later, I found myself in the middle of the room packing all my stuff to move to the business college. And actually, yes, rebound quickly because I didn't even make to the university. What options do you have? Cry? Do not know what to do? Or the third option that I always advise you to care about is just go there and try to take all the best from the situation that you are in. So I did that. I actually went there. I took all the possible subjects from law and psychology to theater and social sciences because I simply didn't know where I belonged to anymore. I got enrolled into some jobs after a couple of months. I went to the bank, to insurance group, I went to IT sector. I started being an actress, then finally got into the event organizing, even the wedding business. My parents thought that I'm about to explode, but all I was doing, I was trying to find myself. And big advice that comes from all this. Never believe in stereotypes that your early career choices somehow influence your career later. It's not true. It's all about experimenting. Once I stood up, I walked to my bank boss and I told him, look, I really have to leave. Like, I really don't belong here anymore. That was kind of a call center. And he told me, why? But where are you going? What are you going to do? Back to studies? I never quit, by the way. And I was like, no, I'm going to be an actress. I was like, guys, he really laughed that way. Friendly little laugh. And I said, like, really, honestly, I feel like being an actress now. And acting is a really broad field. So I did that as a side job for 2 years, and I got a little proof. I knew I might regret showing you this. But that was a big part of my life. I still receive calls before Christmas. So after doing all those different things, you've got to find out what you are good at. It's really hard, so my advice, take the paper, write down all the things that you are working on, write all the things that are somehow joyful for you, that you like doing, and the third column, ask your friends and colleagues to pick some things that they think you are good at. Of course, now everything is digitalized, so you can also do that on LinkedIn, but offline is always nicer. And then, once you find out what I don't know, feels like a joy for you, what you're good at, learn how to sell. It's one of the oldest skills that we have in our humanity. But the problem that we face today in this really competitive market is that it's really hard to sell yourself. Companies are no longer buying your CVs, guys, anymore. It's amazing you have amazing educational portfolio and different skills completed, but companies are hiring your culture, your personality, and your vision. In the last weeks, we opened 6 positions in the company. So we were running a lot of interviews, and this recruitment process is very, very important because you are meeting all those young talents who really believe in you and want to work for you. But at the same time, it's a very big responsibility because you get out in the evening out of the room after having 20 interviews, all brainwashed and thinking, talented, young, smart people, but what do they want? They don't belong here. They don't know their vision. They don't know how to sell themselves. I don't care if you finished Harvard, because we also have this kind of applicants. I care if you feel familiar with a brand, with our company, with our vision and a mission, if you can fulfill that. So once you learn to sell yourself, keep networking. And now, what I learned Networking is not all about going and meeting you and you and you and your future employees and amazing contacts and adding them on LinkedIn later on. Networking changed as well, as the market got very competitive and full of opportunities. Now the best way of networking is delivering a remarkable work. People remember hard workers, right? If you can put 100%, why can't you go a mile extra and put 120%? The important thing here that once you put that 120% and somebody gives you negative feedback, your motivation goes to minus 100. At least that was happening for me for a very long time. And then I would find myself all frustrated in the middle of the room thinking that I'm not capable of doing anything. But this is not true. Just think that you have to eat for breakfast feedback and suggestion. Like, of course, your heart might be crying, but your brain will be saying thank you at the same time, because your weakness today is your strength tomorrow. And just giving an example, I was really bad at numbers, like terrifying bad. And the idea that I always had on mind, because I haven't passed 3 trial mathematics exams in school, and my teacher was always telling me, like, don't do this. So I had to work a lot with numbers, and each time somebody would walk to me with those massive Excel sheets, code lines, and the project budgets, I would freak out. I would have a little micro panic attack inside me, but I couldn't say anything. And each time I have to prepare something, that work wasn't brilliant, because I wasn't really understanding what I was doing. So one day, after all those feedback talks, I sat down and I told myself, Rasa, it's the last day. Seriously, you gotta learn this. You're not going to be the best and the greatest mind in finance, but you can at least get a common feeling of how it is to work with that. So it took me probably like half a year, and now I feel totally confident working on that side. Another rule, you won't be successful in the field that you don't enjoy. Many of us get into something that feels like a comfort zone, and it's really hard to leave that bubble, right? Stability, cash flow, your friends and colleagues that you know forever. But guys, when if not now? Like now, I told you my secret about the numbers, so I even put 3 of them on the screen that you can't really see. So it's 70, 30, and 13. 70% of Americans reported hating their jobs. 30% of the people said, all right, I'm fine with it. And only less than 13% worldwide can really tell every morning that, oh God, I love what I do. Another very, very important part that falls into all this, befriending your imperfections. What I mentioned, I will never be the brightest mind on finance. But at least I take it as a fact, and it helps you in the teamwork, especially understanding that what I can't do, maybe you can do, and maybe you can do it better. And it's way easier to reach self-completeness because you know how you can compensate all this. Be humble and thank people, because success is never achieved alone. And this is one thing that we really forget too often. Just because we are really independent these days, we are so individualistic, right? We want to run, unless we hit the wall. And then we understand that there are so many people around us that are helping us on a daily basis. It's not only your families and friends. It can be your bosses who fired and hired you because they somehow influenced. It can be the weirdest strangers that they give you an example or the advice, or once you met in the bus station or the airport. But always say thank you at the end of the day, because kindness pays off, it's karma. And the most important point, always own your career decisions. I was told many times that I live like a gypsy, I don't have home, I don't have friends, because I keep changing everything. But finally, this was what I wanted. Finally, this was what helped me to find where I belong and to make myself self-completed. So always rely on yourself. Look at the 2 hands in front of you, move those 10 fingers, and feel that all the decision power and your dreams and your life is over here. And again, 70, 30, 13. Now think over about this, look at the numbers, think where you belong to now, think where you want to belong, and even better, go and create new statistics. Thank you.